Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Speak and Grow Rich podcast today with your host, Amanda Moxley, and our special guest named Laura Gevanter. Welcome, Laura. Woo! I'm so happy you're here today. So Laura has been in the field of personal development and power for decades, honestly, her entire life. And she started a podcast before podcasting was even cool. She has had over 160 interviews and had special guests like Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you're familiar with him, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and also Pam Grau. So she knows what she's talking about. She's actually a specialist with Psyche and also has a BA in psychology. And she's here to help you if you have ever been stuck with like, why am I not getting my goals? Why am I not getting my goals? She's going to break down why you're not getting it and also give you the tips and tools to actually unlock your goals potential this year. So welcome, Laura. So happy you're here. So
happy I'm here. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah. So how did you get into this? Like, how did you get on this path and know what you know now?
You know, I was one of these people that as a really young child, I was a seeker. I was always thirsty for information. I wanted to know why. And I just had this natural kind of affinity for understanding human behavior. I just understood certain things. Like, so I had a clarity at a really young age, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I didn't want to be a therapist, but yet I was studying. 13 years old, I was reading Psycho-Cybernetics.
Oh my gosh,
knows
cool.
about that. It's a
thick book.
Yeah. But this is what I was reading in 6th grade. I think, looking back, it was because I wanted to overcome like my own sort of feelings of like doubt or, maybe lack of confidence. And so I think we do that. I think, you look at people in the self-help world and healers, and they're looking to overcome any challenges they're having themselves. And then they end up being able to help others in the process. So I was a seeker. And then I had a whole other career before I got into this. I was in the beauty industry doing marketing and product development, realizing that I'm not following my passion. I'm not following what I love to do and what my talents are. And I started seeking out, I started gravitating more toward that arena. And I went and got my life coaching certification, which changed my life. And then I became a law of attraction coach. And then I really wanted a modality that I could work with people that was really going to help them, really jump towards reaching their goals and not having so much of the work be on them. Because as you know, coaching, we're really valuable, but it depends so much on the work that the client is going to put in. So I discovered Psyche, which I'll explain what that is in a minute. Went and did the training, changed everything, changed my life, changed how I looked at what I was able to offer people. So let me just explain what it is. So Psyche is spelled PSYCH-K, and it stands for key to the psyche, or key to sustainable change in the psyche.
The key. Okay. So you got the key that unlocked everything for you to actually have massive different results in your life, from being a seeker to knowing how to unlock the key. That's amazing.
Exactly. And what it is it's a way to both communicate with the subconscious mind and also get information about what has been programmed. And when I say programmed, that's actually the term that's used. It sounds so like, oh my God, I've been programmed. The news is we've all been programmed. It's part of being human. And from 0 to 7 years old, we are in a state where we're just absorbing everything.
Right.
Everything you're hearing, everything you're experiencing is being programmed, literally like a computer in your subconscious mind to be playing out for the rest of your life.
Oh my gosh. No pressure, parents. No pressure at all.
Exactly.
I love it. So how do you help people then? Let's say someone has a big vision and a big dream in their finances or in their speaking career, in getting booked on stages, getting in the media, coaching their business, and they're not getting their goals. How do you help them, or how can you help us today?
So we've all heard about how important our beliefs are in being able to achieve what we want. And the issue here is that most people don't know what their beliefs are about a specific area. It's not something that we're told or taught how to do. How do I go look and see what my beliefs are about this? We don't. We
Mhm.
just focus on what we want and we work really hard. And many times we're not able to achieve it.
Right.
And one of the issues is that if you have limiting beliefs that your
Mhm.
subconscious believes to be true for you,
Right.
it's going to keep coming up in front of an obstacle because
Mhm.
what's been programmed inside, it seeks to create on the outside. So if you want
Right.
to know if you want to know what your beliefs are in any area of your life, just look at your area externally, relationships,
Mm.
money, career, health, and say, what are my beliefs
Mm.
about that area? And it's going to be reflected externally. So unless
Wow.
you have your beliefs aligned with what you want, you're going to have these challenges to really get the results that you want.
So what if you've done a lot of personal development, shredded your limiting beliefs, you've broken up with those beliefs and you know it, you're aware these beliefs are here, but you're still getting the same, your current reality is not the same as your future reality. How do you bridge that gap?
By changing those beliefs. Okay.
Yeah.
So
But how do
Psyche
you
is one.
change the beliefs? Yeah.
Okay. So just say someone wanted to do it on their own. Okay. So as we know, affirmations are really, really important. Visualization, all those things that we know of these techniques.
Right.
The thing with those is that they take a while and they take a lot of consistency and they take a lot of practice to do it. A lot of people give up.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
I'm not one that ever stuck with those kind of things because I would do, visualization stuff like that. And it's like, it's not showing up fast enough. It's not showing up fast enough. This is what
Mhm.
Psyche does. In a matter of
Okay.
minutes, literally, I know this sounds like magic, but in a way it kind of is, trust me. We can actually go in, right? So for example, when I say go in, I mean, we're actually talking to the subconscious. So for
Okay.
example, just say, Amanda, I want my business to grow to $2 million next year. We'll be like, okay, that's great. Let's see if your subconscious is on board with this. So this work is
Mhm.
done through muscle testing. Okay. Because
Mm.
the same part of the brain, the subconscious also controls the muscles. If we test a statement, okay,
Mm.
that your subconscious does not believe to be true for you, your muscles are going to go weak. Okay. It
Mhm.
causes stress in the body. That's not what I've been programmed. It goes weak. If it does agree, like we would test, my name is Amanda, it would test strong because it knows that's true for you. So
Yeah.
we could actually test and find out if your subconscious is on board with a certain belief. If it's not, look at this information we have. Great. Let's imprint a new belief into the subconscious. There's a very short process that I use to do this. Now,
Mhm.
I know I have a feeling that your next question is, okay, that's great, but how do you do it remotely? Or maybe not.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
I
it
do
was.
the most of the work I do is remote. So
Okay.
when I'm a person, I am physically muscle testing them. Remotely, the way it works is that there's something called surrogation, which is where I actually get permission from your higher self that I can test on your behalf. And the way this
Okay.
works, and I'm going to give you like the kindergarten version of this,
Okay,
is
do
that
it.
the way this works is just like any other remote modality that you've heard of. People know about distance Reiki. People know about the prayer. People know about anything that's in the quantum field that we can't see is still
Yeah.
transmitting information. And you can think about electricity. We don't know how it
Right.
works. Turn it on. It's okay.
Works.
Same sort of thing. So if I'm muscle testing and I am muscle testing on behalf of Amanda, when I say your
Mm.
name, it's going to test strong. So that's how we know we're in communication. And this is done through Zoom as well. It's just as effective whether I do it in person or whether I do it remotely.
Oh, perfect.
So once the beliefs are in, we post test and now we see if your subconscious is on board. And then we know, wow, this belief, my business is doing $2 million this year. So that's half the battle. When you have a
That's
belief
amazing.
that's supporting you, then every
Right.
action you take is going to be that much more aligned. And that's why I call it like the power tool with the law of attraction, because you're also
Mhm.
raising your vibration around a particular topic, whereas
Mhm.
before you had obstacles that were keeping you out of that vibration.
That's so cool. So that's amazing. So how is it like where you were saying something about like past trauma might block people
Right.
or
Right.
how or things if they might have done years of therapy and healing. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so the second main time that Psyche is used, so there's two main times. One is for limiting beliefs, and the second time is the transformation, okay, of past, it's actually changing the perception of past trauma and stress triggers. And what that means is if you had an experience when you were younger, something happened to you, you were a public speaker, you had to do a speech when you were in school and you went up there and you froze and everyone laughed at you, okay? At that time, it locked in public speaking, traumatic, stay away, don't do it, okay? Now, what's really interesting about the subconscious is that it's always in the present, okay? It's not in the future, it's always in the present. So when you have a trigger, it's acting as if it's happening to you right now in the present. So if you had to go give a speech after having this traumatic thing happen to you, I don't even know if you can do it at 5 years old, but whatever age it was when you were younger, your subconscious is going to say, oh my God, this is happening now. And you will probably have all the same experiences, sweating, mind going blank and whatever. What we can do is we can actually get you what's called, and again, I'm going to give you the kindergarten version, get you into what's called a whole brain state, which means the two hemispheres of the brain are in optimal communication and it's open to receiving new information. So within a few minutes, we get you in a whole brain state. You're now reperceiving this past event. Okay, you just imagine it in your mind. But now what's happening is the emotional component or the stress is being removed. And now it gets imprinted as just an event that happened in the past. So the implications of this are incredible because something that your entire life that's been haunting you can now be neutralized and released.
Wow. So it takes the emotion out of it. Then you don't get the trigger the next time.
Yes. And then you're free. You're free to go do it. And that's one thing I've seen in my own life when it comes to certain thoughts that trigger like a fear or some panic reaction. I mean, everyone probably can think of something that they think of something and it's like, oh my God, like, wow, I get this feeling. So when you transform that, what happens is that you'll still have the thought for a while because the thoughts are habitual. Like what would happen if, and there's no charge. And you're like, I don't care. And you just say like, well, who am I? It's not bothering me. Like you notice it in hindsight that you may still have that thought, but there's no
charge. Or when you're back in that same environment, you're not getting triggered.
Exactly.
Emotionally, that is freedom. How many sessions does it take for someone to be able to break that off so that they can be confident?
That's the beauty. And also that's the challenge of being a business owner in this is that it's very few sessions. It can actually be between 1 and 3 sessions that you can like completely transform a particular situation. I've had clients, because I also do this with health issues, and that's the more advanced work. And that's actually my favorite work to do with people. You can get messages from the body, you can get messages from illnesses and allergies and all kinds of cool stuff. That could be more longer term, and then people want to like work on one thing and then the next. But it's really, 1 to 3 sessions.
That's amazing. Wow. So you can help someone who's had a goal that is my goal this year. I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys. My goal is 2 million this year.
You heard
and then you said that you're very intuitive. Like in 2 to 3 sessions, should I just try it? I mean, so like, that's amazing. Cause I've done, and a lot of our listeners, maybe you've done EFT. I've done a lot of tapping. I've done a lot. And I feel really proud of myself for being able to, like think from the left side and the right side of the brain. I feel really integrated in that way from doing work, but I love what you're saying. So it's not like you're dependent on a practitioner. Now, when you have to, when someone learns this, do you take them into like a subconscious state in order to access it? Or is it just through the muscle testing?
It's just through the muscle testing. So we're asking, there's a series of questions. And I just want to explain briefly that Psyche, it's not new. It's been around since the mid 80s. It's one of those things that it's very advanced. It's a higher conscious kind of work. And I don't think it was ready back then to really become more mainstream. And it's a kind of thing that you can't learn on a YouTube. There are videos out there. I mean, I've done some videos on Psyche, but you actually can't show the process on a video because it's experiential. And when you learn it, you need to do it in an in-person setting so you understand what it's like to be muscle test, what it's like to do it on someone else, the feel,
Mhm.
it's a very experiential process.
That's
Um,
cool.
but
And it's individual as well. It's super individualized.
it's
Yeah.
individualized, and yeah, and it's great. There's
That's great.
very little, there's not like, people always want homework to do, and there are actions you need to take, and you do commit to the action at the time, but people always feel like they want something else, like, what do I have to do? And it's like,
They're addicted to doing. They're addicted to doing. I got to do something to fix it, but that's their old program, probably.
exactly.
That's amazing.
Well, they think they're
So,
going to lose it, like they're going to lose it. But here's the really cool thing is that I've
okay.
tested certain, and they're called balances. Like, so a new goal statement that you're putting in the subconscious, they're called, the process is called a balance. I've retested balances I've done with myself, because you can do the work with yourself, that I've done 2 years ago, and they're still strong. So they don't reverse.
That's huge. So, what was it? I had one really good thought. So what has been your favorite client testimonial, or even within yourself? Where were they and where are they now? What have been the biggest results?
Okay, so I actually had a client that I did work with for a while. Like I said, some of the health issues are a little bit longer. And it just so happened that she had had a brain scan before our work together, because she had had she had had a whole bunch of health stuff. And she had a brain scan like 6 months after, because we worked together for 4 months, twice a week. It was pretty intense, but she had a lot of things going on, and she was committed, and she had the funds, and she's like, let's do it. She had a brain scan after, and the brain scan actually showed that trauma, and there was certain, I guess it was trauma that was in the brain was no longer there. So it showed up. And then subsequently it was gone. I actually sent this to my instructors, and I sent this to the Psyche school, because I'm like, I don't know how often you see this, but this is a brain scan showing the difference before and after. And, it completely, and her health is improved. And, it's, so that was really cool. For myself personally, probably, one of the biggest ones was just any stress around like money. Like, being an entrepreneur, that there were times when it's like, it's not usually an even keel, we wish, or one of these, and there's times when it could be stressful, is that the worry is gone. And it's really, really interesting, because you just feel it's not to say that you're just going to sit back and not do anything, but you don't have that trigger of being in a certain situation or thinking a certain thought and triggering the old, what's going to happen, like, our minds
the emotional trigger. That is amazing. That's freedom right there. I love that. Amen. Okay. So it sounds like you have a really great free gift. I bet everyone is like, what is this? They want to connect with you. So what is your free gift?
Well, I have, two things I'd like to offer. So one is, and I'm just looking to find the exact title that I have. So if you go to my website, which is just my name, lauragevanter.com, and it's LauraGevanter. And right on my homepage, I have a free download of 6 ways your subconscious mind speaks to you and what it's saying. And it's really kind of interesting, because your subconscious is speaking to you all the time. And it is, whether it's in your health, whether it's just that things keep showing up for you, and what it's telling you when these things show up. So that's a really, really valuable tool. And it's another thing that's really interesting, is that Freud was one of the people that kind of made the subconscious like, oh, the dark place you don't want to look. No, actually, your subconscious can be your best friend if you know how to work with it. It could be your ally, instead of like this dark, scary place that we don't want to look and see what's in there. And the other thing is that if anyone would like to try a session with me, I would like to offer any of your listeners 20% off their first session. And they can do that by probably emailing me directly is the best way. You can either go to my website again and either download this, or you can email me at Gevanter, Gevanter @gmail.com, just in case the link on my website is not working, only because I've had some tech issues lately.
Okay. So that is super generous. I hope you guys take advantage of that. That is lauragevanter.com. So go to her website and grab that checklist. And then if you want to book the session, you can go through her website or email her as well. So congratulations for all the breakthroughs you've had for yourself and your clients. I hope everyone found this super helpful and they're seeing like it could just be like 1 to 2 to 3 sessions away, a massive breakthrough. So thank you so much. You guys, if you're watching, go ahead and comment, like, share, connect with us here on the podcast. And I will see you next week. Bye, Laura. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, everyone.